Hello people out there and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Seek Your Purpose. This is your host for the show, Mayank Sarah. If you're listening to this podcast for the very first time, I welcome you on board. So hit that subscribe or follow button to never ever miss an episode the time we upload it. Or if you're a regular listener and come back every time that episode goes live, I thank you for being a part of this growing family. Now rate and review the show on the app that you're listening to and help us grow organically to the maximum of such purpose seekers that we have around us. Now let's kickstart the episode. Here we go. So if you have clicked on the episode by seeing the title 5 Healthy Ways to Deal with a Heartbreak and Move On, then I'm sure, just like me and others you're being surrounded by, you must have experienced one of the worst pains a human can face emotionally. The pain of a heartbreak. Yes, heartbreak. And most probably here, you are on the receiving side of it. And I can sense that. So when I Googled the word heartbreak, the Collins Dictionary said, heartbreak is a very great sadness and emotional suffering, especially after the end of a love affair or a close relationship. So it's suffering and heartbreak for those close to the victims. Which means if you're suffering from a heartbreak, you must have gone through the death of a relationship. A connection where you and your partner spend time understanding each other, experience the diverse states of human emotions, especially love. You build memories out of a lifetime to cherish upon, and somehow things did not work as we expected them to be, eventually leading to the death of that relationship. So with all due regards to the relationship that you are into, right now if you are in grief or sorrow due to this dead relationship, it's highly likable that more than missing that person, you're actually missing the version of yours which you were back then. So more than missing the person in the frame, you're actually missing yourself in that frame. The emotions you must have gone through while being with that person, you're surely missing that. Which means that you have tied your happiness to a person or a place or a thing or something else that you're missing for sure now. Confusing, right? Don't worry, I'll explain it. So heartbreak is a human sentiment, and extremely powerful though, which might take years and years to fill the void if dealt casually. It might even hamper your mental state, ending up into depression, anxiety as well. They say time heals everything, but only if done while being mindful of what caused you pain and suffering and how can we overcome that. Not for anyone else, just for yourself, so that you don't end up falling prey to another heartbreak. And if in case you do, you heal super strong this time. So heartbreaks are a part of life, right? They'll happen. But you need to build yourself super strong enough to feel the growth out of it, and not the state of negativity. So just like you, I also experienced various heartbreaks throughout my life. Not once, twice, but number of times. And when I look back at the wisdom I've had out of the relationships that I was blessed to have, and how I overcame the negativity around those people, I thought why not to document them in the form of episode and share the learnings with other people. Let's deal with it. So here are my top 5 learnings of how to deal with a heartbreak and move on. So these are quick, crisp, and some brief facts. I hope you get some learnings out of it. Let's go. Number 1. Focus on self-fueled happiness. So as I quoted above, if you've tied your happiness with some other person, place, or a thing in the frame, it means that you are showing your dependency on them rather than on yourself. For example, if you say, I feel loved when I'm with Victor per se, which means you have tied your happiness around Victor and his presence only. If somehow your relationship with Victor didn't end up well and you guys break up, your happiness will suffer a lot. Why? Because you have tied your happiness around Victor and not yourself. It's not a self-fueled happiness. So instead of tying your happiness with someone else, try focusing on self-fueled happiness. So if you say, I want to feel loved when I'm being surrounded by my loved ones, it means your happiness is tied to self-love and compassion and not merely with just a person in the frame. So focusing on self-fueled happiness allows you to be in charge of your own happiness rather than someone else making it for you. Someone else like Victor driving it for you. So focus on self-fueled happiness where you are the creator of your own happiness. Moving on, practice the art of gratification. We try and find happiness around someone else so deeply that we fail to acknowledge what all we do have in our life, the blessings we are being gifted with in this lifetime. And this surely made me recall an amazing dialogue from Shah Rukh Khan's movie Kal Ho Na Ho, where he says, तुम्हारे पास जो है तुम्हारे हिसाब से बहुत कम है, लेकिन किसी दूसरे की नज़र से देखो तो तुम्हारे पास बहुत कुछ है. So once you start focusing on self-fueled happiness, which I share above, you start counting on the n number of blessings you're being surrounded by. Gratification is feeling grateful, feeling thankful for all that you have in your life, your family, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your resources, your things, your opportunities, and all the other things that you have in your life, making you the current version of yourself. The art of feeling pumped up, confident, and completely satisfied with the blessing and resources you're being blessed with in this lifetime. So try this. The moment you wake up in the morning or the time before you're off to sleep, simply pray to the Almighty, letting you live another exciting day of happiness and love of your life. Thank all the things that you have in your life and feel blessed with whatsoever you have in your life. To ask for more, but also be mindful and grateful for whatsoever you are being blessed with in this life. The third one, respect the other person's choice. I know it's tough and I'm asking way too much from you, but this is important. Important to free yourself of that dead relationship. You must respect the choice of the other person. Face it. And let me be brutally honest over here. They choose someone else over you. It's simple. That's the reality. Accept it and respect the decision of the other person. It's surely not making yourself count low in front of that person. It's simply about believing in the idea that the other person is you, but not the correct fit. It's life. Things didn't work out. The circumstances were just not in favor of you, so respect it. To give you an honest reality check, we humans, we are way too selfish. So all the decisions that we take, all the choices that we make, and all the nods that we say yes to are highly calculated ones, keeping our benefit above all. So if the other person chooses you over someone else, it might be out of the choices that he or she was supposed to make, keeping the well-being of a lot of other commitments in mind. Which is okay, right? It's completely fine. And by respecting the choice the other person made, you're forgiving them for whatsoever they have done knowingly or unknowingly to you. And you put yourself way above all of these by simply forgiving them. Forgiving others is one of the biggest and the greatest deeds in humankind. So be a giver than a taker. Respect the choice, forgive, and move on. Number 4, document the journey. Extremely important. So just the way I'm doing with this podcast, yes, document it. The heartbreak is like a stopover, a layover, a speed breaker. A sort of thing that is asking you to stop, wait a sec, think, calibrate, act accordingly, and take a step forward. And in doing so, once you start respecting the other person in frame, you also start reflecting on the positive outcomes you have had while and after being in a relationship with him or her. I tried it, and I can vouch for the fact that it works brilliantly. Document in the best possible manner, document the changes you have had post the relationship and what important trait of life it taught you for the newly improved version of yours. Believe me, you will thank me later, I know. Just document it. So earlier, whenever I used to recall the love relationship that I've had in the past, I found myself accompanied by grief, sorrow, pain, agony, fear, and disrespect. And above all, I was demeaning myself. So I stopped. I took a moment. I started documenting the positive outcomes on my personality with every passing relationship I was blessed to be a part of. I counted and recounted them, documented them in the form of a podcast episode, and I felt relieved the day I made it open for the people across the world to listen. It was like forgiving myself and respecting the choice these women made in their life. It was tough, but worthy enough. It's not exposing your vulnerabilities, but simply taking a step forward towards a much improved and bolder version of yours. To act in the future, you must reflect on the past as well. Go for it, it's much needed. And the last one is a blessing in disguise. It is a blessing in disguise. So I would take a moment to quote an amazing line I must have read or seen somewhere, which says, "A heartbreak refocuses our priorities, recalibrates our thinking, animates our emotions and reorders our routines." That's so true. It's like the universe is trying to hold your hand and whispering in your ears that, hey, you're not hurt. It's just a blessing in disguise. And I'm a firm believer in the concept of delayed gratification, which says the happenings might seem tough at the initial stage, but surely you do identify the blessings at a later stage. So just believe in the path that you have covered so far and the one that you're bound to embrace now. Because as they say, every change is difficult at first, it's messiest in the middle, but gorgeous at the end. So the heartbreak is a blessing in disguise for you to recalibrate, refocus, and rethink the course of your life. Maybe it's time for you to restructure the misses in your life that you have been procrastinating for so long to show it the light of the day. Take this me time out with yourself, date yourself, travel with yourself, discover yourself. Your likes and dislikes, give importance to yourself and embrace the reality, my friend. So when I feel down emotionally, I simply pack my laptop and stuff, drive my car to my favorite Starbucks in CP, Connaught Place, and reflect on the learnings out of the incident. So in this way, I try to count all the blessings that I had in disguise. And I can vouch for the fact that it works wonder. Remember, it's not the end, it's the beginning of a much improved, vulnerable and joyful version of yours. You're way stronger than before because, as they say, if you keep on winning, you will learn nothing. Just believe in yourself because I believe in you. Take care. So that's what I've got for you in today's episode. If you love the content and the insights which I share with you all, then take a moment to appreciate it. Take a screenshot of the same, post it as story on Instagram and Facebook and tag me at MAYANKSEHRA. That is Mayank Sehra. And also not to miss out, if you are new, then please subscribe and follow the show on the app that you're listening to and rate and review the show on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And just another announcement, the show is live on YouTube now. Just go and search Seek Your Purpose, follow the show and look for more. Now step out of that comfort zone of yours, break it apart and seek the purpose that you are destined to on this planet, in this universe, my friend. And let's create a life that we are extremely proud of creating, living, and thus giving back to the society in the most generous way. I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.